Something big is happening in the software world. We're seeing this massive shift away from just DevOps to something new, a focus on developer experience, or DevX. So let's get right into it and explore this evolution, because at the heart of it all, that's where you'll find platform engineering. You've probably heard this a million times, right? You build it, you run it. For more than a decade, this was the mantra. This was the whole promise of DevOps, to finally break down that wall of confusion between developers and operations and, get things moving faster. But there was a catch, a pretty big one, actually. That promise, it had this unintended side effect. Because as our systems got more and more complex, we're talking an explosion of cloud-native tech, we suddenly started asking our developers to be experts in everything. Kubernetes, networking, security, the list goes on. And the result wasn't agility, it was just plain burnout. And that right there brings us to the absolute core of the problem that platform engineering is really here to solve, and that is this overwhelming cognitive load we're putting on developers. It's kind of a classic one step forward, two steps back situation, isn't it? We set out to tear down one wall, that wall of confusion, but in the process, we accidentally built a new one, a wall of cognitive load. The goal was autonomy, right? We wanted developers to have freedom, but instead, we kind of just drowned them in this sea of tools and configs and infrastructure details, all stuff that has very little to do with their actual job, which is, to build amazing software. Let's be really clear about what we mean by this. It's what's called extraneous cognitive load. Think of it like a tax on a developer's brain power. It's all the effort they have to spend just dealing with the environment, debugging a CI/CD pipeline, figuring out infrastructure, instead of actually solving the business problem they were hired to solve. It's just friction. And this isn't a small tax either. We're talking 25 to 30%. Yeah, seriously. Analysis show that developers are losing a full quarter of their week, sometimes more, just wrestling with this stuff. Just let that sink in for a second. It means for every 4 developers on your team, you're basically paying one of them to fight with tools all day long. That's a huge waste. So what's the answer? How do we fix this? Well, it starts with a really fundamental shift in how we think. We have to start treating our internal platform as a product. And you can really see the difference when you compare the old way with the new way. The old model, I like to call it ticket ops. You know the drill. A developer needs something, so they file a ticket, and then they wait. And wait. It's just a massive bottleneck. The new model is all about self-service. Developers can just get what they need whenever they need it through a simple platform. No waiting, no bottlenecks, just pure autonomy. And this right here is the absolute key takeaway. Platform engineering is all about treating your internal platform like a real product. And who are the customers? Your developers. So the platform team's job is to build something those customers actually love using. They do user research, they have a product roadmap, they are laser focused on making that developer experience better and better. Look, this isn't just some passing fad. The numbers don't lie. Gartner is predicting that by 2026, a whopping 80% of large software companies are going to have platform engineering teams. This is fast becoming the standard way that high-performing organizations get work done. Okay, so we've talked a lot about why we need a platform, but what? What exactly is one? Let's break down the anatomy of a platform. All right, there's one thing that trips a lot of people up, and that's the difference between the internal developer platform, or IDP, and the internal developer portal. It's actually pretty simple. Think of the IDP as the engine. It's all the back-end machinery, your Terraform, your Kubernetes, all the powerful stuff doing the heavy lifting. The portal, on the other hand, is the dashboard. It's that nice, shiny, user-friendly interface that your developers actually click around in. So a really good platform isn't just one thing. It's built in layers. You've got 5 main ones. At the top, there's the user interface, that portal we just talked about. That talks to an API and orchestration layer that's kind of the brains of the operation. Underneath that, you've got a layer for data and metadata to keep track of everything, a resource provisioning layer to actually create stuff, and finally, an observability layer so you can see what the heck is going on. And here's a great visual of how this all fits together. You can see how a portal, something like Backstage, acts as that single pane of glass for developers. Through that one interface, they can get to everything: CI/CD, security, observability, and it's all running on top of powerful cloud services, in this case, AWS. Okay, so if the platform is the product, then what's its killer feature? What's the one thing that makes it all worthwhile? Well, it's something called the golden path. The best way to think of a golden path is like the easy button for a really common task. Let's say you need to build a new microservice.
The platform team basically says, hey, just push this button. It's the officially supported, standardized, totally paved road to get it done. And the best part is, it has all the best practices for security, compliance, and operations baked right in from the start.
Now, this part is super important. Golden paths are optional. They are not mandatory. Developers can always choose to go off-road if they need to. And this creates this really healthy tension, right? It forces the platform team to build a product that is so good, so much easier than the alternative, that developers actually want to use it. They have to earn their customers. Let's make this real. Imagine a golden path for building a serverless app on AWS. A developer clicks a button and boom, the platform automatically sets up their infrastructure as code using the CDK. It configures a secure CDK pipeline for deployments. It enables CloudWatch Lambda Insights for diagnostics, and it even turns on X-Ray for tracing. All of it just done, out of the box. So the developer can just write code. They don't have to spend weeks figuring out the infrastructure. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Why should the business care about any of this? Well, the success is measured by something called the DORA metrics. These are the 4 gold standard metrics for any high-performing tech team. We're talking deployment frequency, lead time for changes, change failure rate, and time to restore service. A great platform moves the needle on all of them. You deploy faster, you have fewer failures, and you recover quicker. And what does that mean? It means a better, more reliable product for your customers. It's a direct line to business value. And the ROI here is, frankly, it's staggering. We see companies with mature platforms slashing their dev cycle time by like 70%. We see them saving millions of dollars just by consolidating tools. And developer productivity goes up by 30% or more. These aren't fuzzy numbers. These are real, measurable impacts. And it all comes from one simple thing: giving developers their time back. But let's look even further ahead, because this is where it gets really exciting. A well-designed platform with clear APIs and data contracts isn't just about making humans more efficient. It's the perfect launchpad for the next frontier: AI agents. We're talking about AI that can autonomously and safely build, deploy, and even manage our software for us. And that really brings us to the final critical question you have to ask yourself. Platform engineering, it isn't just about making your developers happier today. It's about future-proofing your entire organization. It's about building the foundation that will let you innovate tomorrow. So the question isn't if you need a platform anymore. The real question is your infrastructure ready for AI agents? Is it ready for what's coming next?